So we just get that get this. Yeah, but it's an app. Okay, let me go. I got it. I'll do it right here. Let me try.
I already sent it.
Oh, you got it? Okay.
It should be working, it should be working now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so one of the schools I work with is in Santan Valley.
Yeah.
They posted your guys' picture.
They must have been.
You and I should talk.
Yeah, that's group.
Okay.
For
Yeah.
schooling.
Yeah. Well, you're the advocate for the school or the district.
So we got your Charlie, are you there?
Okay, good. So, oh, that's good to
Yes,
hear.
I am.
Oh, good, cool.
Hi there.
So we got everybody, and it is 6 o'clock on the dot.
We were also in, Olivia, are you on the line?
She said she was just getting on right now.
Okay.
Should be.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, 6:01, we'll call to order. We could stand for the pledge, please. And Miss Allen, I believe it's your turn.
I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Stiles?
Here.
Mrs. Allen? Here. Mr. McGivern?
Here.
Mr. O'Leary?
Here.
Mr. Osterby?
Here. Just for the record, I'd like to just say that Mr. McGivern and Ms. Kais are calling in versus in person. Okay. Approval of the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda.
I'll second. Any discussion on the agenda? With that, roll call, please.
Mrs. Kais?
Yeah.
Mrs. Allen? Yes. Mr. McGivern?
Yeah.
Mr. O'Leary?
Yes.
Mr. Osterby?
Daniel. All right, wonderful. That takes us to call to the public, which I don't believe we have any. Is there somebody secretly on the phone? I'd like to look at it closer.
I know.
Like we can see through it. Okay, no call to the public, taking us right to the superintendent's July report.
Okay. Very short and sweet since we have had a busy summer, but we did have our admin retreat, we had our board retreat. So I just wanted to share, our theme for the year is This Is Us. And we will be discussing more in future board meetings on the whole concept of this is us, this is who we serve, this is our vision, this is our mission, these are who our students are, who our parents and families are, and who our staff members are. Just a reminder, our vision and mission, our mission statement, Continental School District will provide a community environment in which all individuals are challenged to achieve excellence in academics, character, and life skills. And our vision statement, building for the future, learning, cooperating, and caring for all. Special projects that are underway, we are getting a reading peace garden by our Valle Verde grant submission that will be on the west side of our campus at the middle school, so we're super excited about that. Our greenhouse, we're working with the community members to make our greenhouse operational and functional, which has been my goal. This is going on my 6th year, so we're hoping that we can finally get it up and running this year. Campus beautification, which is always in the forefront. We have those galvanized planters outside the pod areas that were received 2 years ago by a grant that we wrote with Freeport. So this summer, some of them were painted. Each pod has one, so we're really looking forward to getting those up and going. And we also have big, huge tires in the greenhouse that we want kids to personalize and paint to put around our campus as well. Our shade structures are scheduled for installation in September. So because of materials, manufacturing, and everything being on back order, we were hoping to get it installed before school started, but they will be here in September, and it'll be very exciting for our students.
Yeah.
Registration and enrollment. Our current enrollment, K through 8, is 604. At the end of the year last year, we had 606 K-8. And Ms. Eva still does have students that she needs to activate in the system, so we are expecting our enrollment to be up higher than what it was last year. Our pre-K students, we have 25 enrolled right now, and the end of the school year last year, we had 46, so we're waiting for our preschoolers to enroll. So current total enrollment is 629, end of year last year was 652, which was primary difference of our preschool students. Class sizes, all classes are currently under 24 students. We have 2 4th grade classes that have 26 students, and we have 5th grade classes have 18 and 19 students. So if you remember, 3rd grade last year was our grade level that had the highest enrollment, and 4th grade had the 18 and 19 students per class, so 5th grade will have the low class sizes. So if you know any 5th graders who want to open enroll at Continental, send them our way. Governing Board Admin Retreat. So we had our retreat last Friday. We spent a great deal of time discussing our Continental Way, our roadmap to excellence, and our work with Generation Schools Network. We discussed our Governing Board goals and District SMART goals. Details are attached as a PowerPoint on the agenda and will be put on our district website for public view. We do have Mr. Larry Martinez here from Generation Schools Network, who started working with us in May or end of April doing classroom walkthroughs, and he will speak later on in the meeting. And we also have Ms. Olivia Bachicha, who will be on the call as well to answer any questions that Governing Board may have in terms of the process and our goals that were developed with their help. I want to thank everyone for their hard work and contribution to the process and the task at hand, because we really wanted to start the school year with our SMART goals and our roadmap to be able to post on our website so it would be clear for public and for all staff members. Avid highlights, we were excited that we were finally able to send a team to the 2002 Avid Summer Institute in person. We have been attending virtually due to COVID. They had canceled the conferences. So Mrs. Cuevas, Mr. Nathan, Mr. Magallanes, Ms. Mills, our 2nd grade teacher, Ms. House, the 3rd grade teacher, and Ms. Umbrella attended for middle school. And you can see there the topics that were discussed at each level. Middle school was, in terms of the middle school elective, talking about Waker strategies and administration, attended critical thinking and engagement, and school-wide approach, and then district leadership, which Albert attended, was the professional learning communities and school-wide goal setting. So we're very excited. The group is super excited about growing capacity, and that's what we need is teacher leaders to get excited to share with their colleagues. So we do have some teachers who are also going to be attending the virtual conference as well next week. So we're kind of tag teaming and getting our teachers excited about Avid. And there you'll see some of the work that was done. Avid provides team time for teams to work together. So you can see our team there working with Mrs. Cuevas and Mr. Nathan taking the lead. So we are looking forward to our Avid work this year. And I would like to welcome Ms. Mindy Suarez, Ms. Melinda Suarez. She's our new special ed director. So welcome, Mindy, to your first official board meeting of the year. And we'd also like to welcome Ms. Nayeli Durubiates, who is our new admin assistant. So welcome, and I'm glad to have you both here on board with us. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. That will take us to item 7, the consent agenda. For a motion to approve.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I will second.
Any discussion on the consent agenda? That's it. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Kais, Mrs. Allen,
Yes.
Mrs. Allen,
Yes.
Mr. McGivern,
Yes.
Mr. Allery,
Yes.
and Mr. Osterlin.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. So with that, moving on along to item number 8, report items. Looks like this is Mr. Greg approval and ratification of the vouchers.
Yes, sir. So tonight before you, we have 4 accounts payable vouchers and a combined 3 vouchers for payroll. Our payroll vouchers 25 through 27, total $370,808.55. And our expense vouchers, all 4 of those together total $77,758.34. We bring these to you tonight for your approval.
Okay. Looking for a motion, please.
I'll move to approve the vouchers.
Second.
Any discussion on the vouchers?
I had 3 questions
Okay.
from Mr. Schubert, but I sent them to him earlier today and I got answers, so I don't need to ask them here.
Fantastic. Anybody else?
Mrs. Kais,
Yes.
Mrs. Allen,
Yes.
Mr. McGivern,
Yes.
Mr. Allery,
Yes?
Mr. Osterlin.
Then yes. Takes us to item 8B, the district financial report. Schubert, you're still up.
So before you tonight is also the district financial report. I understand on the agenda, it says as of July 7th. That was the date that I actually created the report. It's actually the end of the fiscal year, June 30th. So that is my mistake for it being misprinted up there on the agenda. But yes, it is. It's our end of the year report. Now, please remember that we still have an encumbrance period where we're still paying invoices from the previous year. That'll end at the end of August. So we will also have, more expenditures within the last fiscal year. But I open it up to any questions if anybody has anything.
I believe we have to vote on it first.
Mrs. Kais,
No, we need a motion first.
Yeah, we got it.
It's easy just to go to the questions, I know. I do that all the time. A motion to approve the financial report?
You're moving?
No, I wrote it up on the left.
You can.
Yeah, I'll move.
I'll second.
There we go. All right, discussion.
Let me just reiterate a question I sent to Greg also today. And I understand that we've got outstanding expenses
Yes, sir.
that will apply to the 22 fiscal year. But am I correct, at least as of right now, that we have over $300,000 that we're carrying forward, minus whatever expenses that we have in July and August, into the next fiscal year in M&O?
Yes, sir.
And then we've got almost $1 million in restricted fund carryovers in various
Yes, sir.
places, both federal and state, food, carry over into the next fiscal year.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Mrs. Kais,
Okay.
Mrs. Kais,
Yes.
Mrs. Allen,
Yes.
Mr. McGivern,
Yes.
Mr. Allery,
Yes?
Mr. Osterlin.
Yes. There, wonderful. Moving right along. Unfinished business. The exciting second reading of policy advisory 680-711. Hand this over maybe for a little clarification. to our
So again, as was discussed at our board retreat, most of the policies are policies that were either approved that are now being, what do we say, that are now being, the policies that were approved that are now being pulled back by ADE in terms of the mask, covering the mask mandates that we never adopted from the beginning, so that's on there as a deletion. Most of the other language was added, charter schools have been added to the policies, where in some cases it was only for public schools and not charter schools. So there were not any policies that were alarming to us.
And I guess we're looking for, this is an action item, right?
Yes.
So there's going to be two of them. We need a motion to approve the advisory 680-711.
I move to approve the second reading of policy advisory 680-711.
Second,
Any discussion on the policy advisory?
yes. It appears to me that every single one of these policies needs to be adopted with the exception of 696, which has to do with identification cards for grades 9 through 12.
Yes, a lot of them are high school.
And so that is not applicable to us, so we shouldn't be adopting that particular policy change.
Right, so we will note those in terms of,
So I would like to amend the motion to approve all of the policy advisories in this section, 680 through 711, with the exception of policy advisory 696.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but we still do have students attending at the high school level.
This is Continental School Board.
I understand that, sir, but also remember that if we are in a growth mindset where we want to eventually get to the point where we have our own high school, this policy on having it already on the books is not a bad thing. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there for your consideration.
Is there agreement with the administration on that? That we need to have that policy?
Steve might have some.
well,
Our budget that we receive from the state, correct me if I'm wrong, but does cover high school students.
Right.
We just outsource that.
Right?
So although we wouldn't have to do anything here, it's just covering our students that attend Golden Grove.
Okay.
So by approving that, I don't see that it would hurt us. It's not a bad thing. It's
Then
just,
I will withdraw my
Right,
amendment.
because they're still our kids.
we transport them, we're responsible for them. We
Okay.
just outsource that.
I will withdraw my motion, or my amendment.
Fantastic. Anybody else? Okay, roll call, please.
Mrs. Geis?
yeah,
Mrs. Allen? Yes. Mr. McGivern?
Yeah,
Mr. O'Leary?
Yes?
Mr. Osterly?
And yes. This takes us to the next item. The item B, advisory 712 through 715.
I move to approve the second reading of policy advisory 712 through 715.
I'll second. Discussion?
I don't think we need these. We never adopted policy 700 to begin with. All of these are amendments to that policy that was initially adopted by the ASBA because of the governor's, or the law that was passed regarding these items on teaching about controversy and
That's the.
And so there's no need to remove language from that policy number 700 because we never adopted that in the first place.
so we did do a resolution for our teachers, so I think it goes back to this policy since we didn't adopt it. There are recommendations stated by ASBA, so we didn't adopt it, you are correct. So we can,
But we can't remove language from a policy advisory that does not exist in our
right, for us.
website.
Right. Yes, so that would be fine, we can just not approve that.
I would recommend
Pull out 700.
that we never adopted 700
Right,
to
right.
begin with.
I mean,
That
remember-
contained this language.
Yeah.
But that was deemed to be unconstitutional because it was included in numerous items under one bill. And so it was deemed unconstitutional, and this language at ASBA is really only intended for those school districts that adopted
Okay.
Policy Advisory 700
Correct, so these are 712
through 715.
through 715. So 712 through 13 and 14. And then 715 is the immunization of students. So that also, right, we never required them. So that's correct.
So I would recommend a no vote.
Really, not really a vote. Just sort of-
Kind of.
Well, it is, right.
We're not amending
Right, we're
anything,
not
so we don't have-
amending, so we'll just, when we report to ASBA, we'll report that these are not approved policies by our good report
I got
from the very beginning.
Thank you for the
So
clarification.
that's
But
fine.
please remember, we do have a motion on the floor to approve.
Right.
So then
That's
we'll
why
do
we
a
have
vote,
discussion.
we'll do vote.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. We're ready.
Mrs. Kice?
Can you restate the motion, please?
The motion, well, I'm sorry.
Well, the motion was to approve, and then Mr. Olery clarified it with us that we don't even have these, so it's nothing, we don't have anything to amend. So therefore, the motion to approve was premature, in my opinion.
So the motion to approve should be withdrawn because there's nothing to approve.
We could do that or just vote no. I think it washes out either way.
It's the same result. I withdraw my motion.
I withdraw my second, so. Okay. Withdrawn, thank you. School safety, follow-up. I assume that's Mr. Lathan.
Yes, Mr. Nathan would like to just follow up with.
Discussion, topic.
Good evening, governing school board. On Friday afternoon, we had the opportunity, I already went over a lot of the results. I will report publicly that we did have all sheriff deputies that are on the day shift tour the campus so that they're familiar with the campus. They were introduced to our emergency policies for those that are new on shift that haven't had that before. But all of them that will be working Monday through Friday from 7:30 until 3:30 have been walked through the campus so they're familiar in case of emergency. They know where to respond and can hopefully service us quicker due to the knowledge and expertise, as well as kind of getting to know a lot of the staff and the integral parts of our EOP, our emergency operations plan. They did offer up a few suggestions. First of all, they said they were very pleased, the sergeant who was in charge, very pleased with our emergency response plans, the things that we've done with our infrastructure to make our campus safer for staff and students. They offered a few suggestions, which I shared with the board already at the board retreat. So a few little details that we've already started working on to improve per their suggestions and recommendations. Are there any questions?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So the RSRO, he's gonna be here full-time this coming year?
We have not heard anything different. As you know, we've gone like this with Pima County. A lot of it depends on their leadership. And unfortunately, their staffing. I know that their staffing is still low. They haven't been able to replace over the summer the 3 deputies that are short. However, due to the relationship that we built with his sergeant, it is my knowledge currently right now, I was actually just texting him to see if he'd come in and meet with us as we get closer to our SRO, because he was working in the Green Valley sector currently. But it's my knowledge that he will be full-time with us. One of the other things that we've been working on is building a relationship with the Arizona Rangers. And with that, that allows us to, they are a law enforcement volunteer auxiliary. And on days when Deputy Eastloss is not able to be here because he's either out for training, out for sick leave or vacation time, they are willing to take that up and come and volunteer. Donations are accepted, so that's something that we'll be talking with Mr. Schubert about later. But that's one of the things that way we always have a law enforcement present on campus, even on when he's not available to be here. So that's something just to kind of fill those holes as we move forward, which is, you know, like I said, Pima County Sheriff's Department, they just don't have enough staff to send someone when he's out. So this is one of those ways for us to cover.
So there's a decent amount of Rangers in the Green Valley area, right?
There's currently 10 active Rangers.
Okay.
So about half of those have jobs, so that's challenging,
Yeah.
but the other half are retired. The majority of them are previous law enforcement or military. We actually have one on staff currently who is very willing and currently is not working during the school day for us. So on those days, he's willing to take that up. And the reason why I know all this is I attended one of their meetings last week. And so we kind of had that conversation. We'll be working on an MOU, a memorandum of understanding, an agreement between their division and the school. And so Ms. Rico and I have talked about that, and I'll be drafting that, getting that to her, and then she'll finalize that and then move forward with their captain.
That's really good. That's I don't know, I don't have enough good things to say about what you're talking about. So.
And we'll just, Rich, to get back to your original question, that's one of about 4 different options that we're looking at. So we've already been in conversation with the Cerrito Police Department. They're going to come through and do the same thing. They also have a very formal evaluation of businesses and schools. And so their leadership has offered to do that when they come and do the walkthrough with their guys to come and do that formal evaluation of our campus. So that's kind of the next step that I'm working on. Another one that we're going to be working on is with the trust, having them come down. They'll also do a site assessment. And then, of course, the ones that we've done in the past, the SWAT, and then the DPS bomb squad will also be, I'm sure will be willing to come down. I haven't reached out to them yet. Kind of taking the priority ones, the one closest to home first, working those through, and then moving forward with that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that takes us to an action item, approval of the fiscal year 2023.
Hard to believe it's already here. Huh? Seems like just yesterday we were doing this for last year. So before you tonight is the budget. This would be the adopted budget for the upcoming fiscal year. Be able to blow that out. Okay, so. Move it over to the side. Keep going. And just scroll down below. There you go. All right, so as you can see, we have estimated for the taxes for the upcoming year, the primary tax rate going from a 1.82 to a 1.9324. the M&O override tax rate going from a 0.1412 to a 0.2260. Our Class B bonds going from 0.2876 to 0.2847 for a total secondary tax rate of a 0.4288 from the previous year to this year's of 0.5107. Just wanted to give everybody an idea as to why the tax rate goes up. The district that we live in, we added over $45 million in value to our housing. So when home values go up, ADE pays less. So there's nothing I can do about that one. And also, please remember, these right now are still estimated. They haven't been approved by the County Board of Supervisors as of yet. But doing the calculations with the county schools office, this is what we both had come up with. You'll see we have a budget and within our M&O of $7,601,765. Within unrestricted capital, which is our capital outlay, $600,461. And we're looking at federal projects, or so federal grants in the amount of $499,283 for a total aggregate budget of just over $8.7 million for the school year. The average teacher salary for those teachers that we will have coming in this year is at $45,382. The average salary last year was $45,664, so that's a difference of $282 or a negative 1% change. So we lost some high dollar teachers and we brought in some teachers that weren't as experienced. So if you would go to this page. All right, so this is our M&O budget. This is where it's broken out. Go ahead.
Greg, just for the recording, can you describe M&O, what that means?
So M&O is our maintenance and operations budget. This is where we pay salaries. This is where we pay our utilities. This is where we pay for school supplies, transportation supplies. So this is, if we send somebody to a conference, this is where we pay it out of. So this is the majority of our money, and it's this lump sum right through here.
Okay, thank you.
Over on the far right, all right, you can see the percent increase and decrease of each column there. Within our instruction, which is our regular education instruction, we're looking at a 3% increase over the previous year. Our support services, you're looking at a 25.9% increase, 88.2% in instructional staff, 20.8% in general administration, a 2% in school administration, a 5.4% in central services, 5.6% in operation and maintenance of plants, so this is our maintenance departments, down 14.2% within our operation of non-instructional services, so this is actually the food service portion of it. The only thing that we have budgeted within food service for our M&O account is our health benefits for the staff and from the staff there. We are required to subsidize food service to a percentage, and by subsidizing their cost of healthcare, that covers that standard. School-sponsored co-curricular activities, that's also up 29.5%. Within our special ed department, the instructional point went up 2.6%. Student services went down 13.3%. Instructional staff went down 18.6%. General administration went down 62.5%. School administration went up 4.9%. And when you look at that 4.9%, it's going from $607 last year to $637 this year. So it's also kind of important to take those into consideration as well. When we look at this total for special ed over the previous year, it just went down 3.2%. When we're looking at pupil transportation, that's up 29%. And then when we look at our K-3 reading program, that is up 7.4%. And overall, we have a total budget increase over the previous year of 5.5%. So
What's the reason for the 88.2% in instructional staff on solid purpose services?
A motion and discuss. All right.
Well, okay,
I would love to ask that
Okay.
same question.
all right.
All right, so let's go to.
That's what I think it's so easy.
There you go. All right, so next one we're going to look at is our capital outlay. So this is another good portion of where our funds go. On the bottom left, scroll down towards there. There's where the budget's broken out as far as what we're looking to spend our capital dollars on. We do have a brand new textbook adoption with the with our ELL curriculum. So we're looking within textbooks, $246,772. Instructional aids, $89,358. Furniture and equipment, $22,877. Vehicles, $153,978. Tech and hardware, $83,178. So the line below there, you see, matches up perfectly with what we're spending on vehicles. That is our lease payment on our brand new buses.
Okay.
Let's see, so we've gone over M&O, we've gone over capital. Yeah. All right, the next one is our federal projects. There's really not a whole lot to report within federal projects. A lot of our title funds actually went down. But we've actually been able to budget more of them within the actual budget because we know what we're going to be spending this funds on instead of waiting until, a couple months down the road. So we have a better grip of what we're actually going to be spending that money on. But if you look overall, the prior fiscal year, we, just over $1 million in federal projects, and this year, just under $500,000. State projects, this is a grant that we received, so $566,355. Over on the right-hand side is our cash controlled accounts. Okay, so you see where we've budgeted $460,443 within food service, $120,638 within our community schools, $213,682 in extracurricular tax credits, just over $1 million in debt service, and that is our bond payments. Our insurance premiums have gone up a little bit this year. That's why the difference from $132,396 the previous year to $136,023 this year. Student activities pretty much remained the same. Within our building renewal grant, that is money that we would receive from the SFB. Hopefully we don't have to spend $25,000 with them. That means something catastrophic has happened and broken. But it's there in case we need it. With that, Mr. President, whenever you're ready for a motion, sir.
Thank you. I think we'll probably have a little discussion.
There might be a question.
Chances are. You see my wonderful notes. Okay, a motion please for the budget.
I'll move to approve the budget.
I second.
Thank you. And discussion. We'll start with the gentleman who gave the first motion.
Okay, just, I really don't have too many, but generally, just on page 1, we're projecting total revenues, and I know they're estimated of $9.7 million. And only right now projecting expenses, or a budget limit of about 9.1 million. So, assuming those come in as estimated, we're looking at maybe a $700,000 overage.
Which is possible, and if that is the case, that is all funding that would go back into remember now we're a payback district. Anything over and above would become payback.
Okay,
That's payback to the state, payback.
So it pays back to the state, and it helps to cover those districts whose tax rate isn't high enough to.
I always cover that. It really makes me mad, but it is what it is.
okay, and then the question that I was gonna ask, the 88% increase on instructional staff, it's all in purchase services?
So we are adding a teacher to ESI?
But this is purchase services?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's
so that's the
just-
contract.
Yes.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Can I, in that same line, there was 2 other line items that were fairly big. 28%, the other one was pretty high as well. Item 3 was one of them, and I didn't write down the other one. That might have been, which were the ones that are like double digits?
Well, there's 20%.
The 20.8%,
20.8% in
and that would be because we have added all of Ms. Rico's salary back in, as she is no longer an employee of ESI.
Okay. But just when you have a big number like that.
Yeah.
sometimes-
You get that little bit of a sticker shock, like, okay, why? Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, sorry. Rich.
Oh, that's me.
Wow.
Just a question on student activity. This is on page 6.
Okay.
In the proposed budget, there was $223,000 in student activities. And that's been revised to $87,000 in the proposed, or the adopted budget here. Again, line 33. In the proposed budget that we approved last month, there's $222,713 in student activities projected for the budget year, and that's been changed to $86,000 in the new budget.
If you look on the proposed from last year, look at line 34, the line right underneath that. What's that number
On the proposed budget?
on the proposed budget for insurance payments?
132,399, oh, and 0 next to it is what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
And
So
so that's just.
when we put together the proposed budget, they were
Okay.
both included.
So student activities, insurance payments was loaded into that one?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. And was there just merely a typo on the override authorization? Because that was down from 915,000.
So when I put together the override for last year, or for the proposed budget, the forms hadn't come out in order to for the new calculations. I missed 2 steps and overestimated. So that is why it is what it is
I
now.
mean, it'd be nice to have.
Trust me, I would have much rather had what I estimated.
Okay. And the only other thing I have is that I would like the record to show the amounts that are in the contingency funds of $131,121 in the 3 funds and $192,707 in salaries. Now, you had mentioned to me, Greg, that the 192 was available to pay for raises in January,
Yes, sir.
but wouldn't that be anticipated in the budget?
That's where it's at right now. You asked for where contingency money was. So there is contingency money within the salary codes. That way, when January comes, you'll have money sitting there already for raises. We have money
But the
there for
projected-
overtime, and we also have money there for any buyouts.
But the projected salaries on the MDL is about $1.5 million. Does that include the
Yes.
projected raises?
Yes,
Okay.
and also within that, because each category has their own salary line.
So if we
So
didn't,
within-
but if we
within-
didn't have this $192,000 carryover, we'd still be able to handle those raises in January.
Yes.
Thank you.
So we spoke about the bond payment. I don't think we can say this enough, just so, and I'm gonna get with the paper again. And those of you that are newer here, that we refinanced our bonds when rates were low and are saving the taxpayers over $1 million for those. And all we got was a little blurb like this of recognition. So everywhere I can talk about it, I'm gonna talk about it. So that's a lot of money, right? I mean, so kudos to us for doing it. So all of this stuff, we'll take credit when we get it. So,
We didn't talk about classroom site fund.
We can, it's
Well,
wide open. I didn't dwell on it.
But we've got a $90,000 carryover in the classroom site fund of payments that we did not make from budget in
Correct.
this last fiscal year.
Correct. Because when the budget was set up for the last fiscal year, we still had it set up with 3 different pots of money.
Right.
And in order to have contingency money within those in case teachers came, we planned for $30,000 contingency in each one of those funds.
So the 563 that we're projecting for budget year 2023, does that include the 91,000 of
Yes,
carryover?
that does include.
Okay, thank you.
anybody else on the budget? You all on the phone? Going on? Okay.
Kelly, I think we talked about the fact that when we put the budget together, that when there were extreme variances, that we would annotate those variances. And I don't see that in here anywhere, which is what probably created the questions when we see, increases of 88%, decreases to 62%, increases to 29%.
Right.
In addition to that, when I'm looking at our special ed program, we declined in special ed while we realized an increase in number of SPED students. Can you justify that for me, please?
So when we put the budget together and we're looking within SPED, a lot of the decreases that we found are dealing with like instructional staff. So there was 18.6% down in instructional staff. Within general administration, that's down 62.5%. But when you're looking at those percentages, also remember that 18% reduction is going from 1781 down to 1450. The 62.5% is going from $2,500 down to $955. And the reason being is we didn't have the expenditures in the previous year that matched what the budget actually was. So some of that money was reallocated throughout the budget in areas that had the need. We didn't have the expenditure need within the budget that we were thinking that we would have. It helps that we have 2 special ed grants. So that's where a lot of the expenditures go. And it frees up the M&O account for other items.
And then regarding our gifted education, we spent a great deal of time this year testing and getting our faculty, our staff involved in gifted education. Where do you see that reflected in the budget and our increase in funding for the budget year to move forward with the gifted education program?
Okay, so the multiplier for gifted education is 0.0017. Okay, we have identified 5 kids as being gifted, and they are included within the budget calculation sheets as far as our Class B weights go. So that is where that actually is. It's all encompassed. So it's a formula-driven thing that tells us exactly how much money we have. It goes in with that.
But I'd like to add that we do have a plan to service our gifted ed kids this year with Ms. Romanelli, who has a gifted endorsement, and Mrs. Cuevas, in how we're going to work our Reteach and Enrich program to service our gifted students within the school day. So Ms. Cuevas she'll be sharing that information at our August board meeting as well, on what the plan is that we finalized.
But I also think when we talked about the gifted program, we knew that the weightings provided by the state
Was not gonna be,
close,
right.
so we're gonna accommodate gifted in the M&O budget.
Yes.
And we did talk with the folks from IDEA, and gifted does not fall underneath anything that we can do with our special ed grants. Although it is considered a special ed weight, we can't use any of the money for gifted.
We tried.
And so, just again, so that the record will reflect, we have a population and enrollment of approximately 600 students. And out of that 600 students, we have 5 students for approximately 0.8%, less than 1% of our students are gifted.
Wasn't that 3rd grade now?
Which grades were tested?
So we are going to be doing a screener for all of our 2nd grade students. So the 3rd graders and 4th graders were tested. How many students did we evaluate?
There was about 25.
25 students that were referred. And in the end, how many were identified?
I believe there was about 5 to 7.
There were 5 to
That were
7.
at the 9th, stay 9. But we still have those that are at the 7th and 8th, stay 9, that we would like them to take part in the gifted education program, but the 9th, stay 9 is what is recognized by EDE.
As gifted.
So I guess my point is, in the United States, we have an estimate of 6% of our student population being gifted. And we're showing an estimate of 0.8%, less than 1% of our students being gifted. And I'm kind of questioning the disparity because it is so significant.
Right, so we will continue to accept referrals from teachers, and like we said, we're going to be doing the screening of our 2nd graders to see who qualifies. So again, we will continue to try to identify our gifted ed students.
Sound like we're ready for roll call on the budget.
Mrs. Kreis,
Yes?
Mrs. Allen,
Yes.
Mr. McGivern,
Yes,
Mr. O'Leary,
Yes,
Mr. Osterly.
And I'm a yes. Okay, so we are on to new business, item B, program assistant and paraprofessional.
Okay, due to our increase in numbers of our special ed students requiring one-on-one parapros, we're requesting a programmatic assistant. And also we would like to propose a paraprofessional to help with 1st grade. We have one parapro who helps the kindergarten teachers and rotates throughout the day. And with the level of need of our kinder students going to 1st grade, in order to truly have them ready and prepared for 3rd grade, to show the growth that we've identified as our goal, we really need this additional person to help with managing behaviors and instruction in the classroom.
I move to approve the additional SPED, programmatic assistant, and parapro positions.
Second?
Any discussion on the item B, the assistant parent?
Are these contemplated in the budget?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, and again, I would just like to emphasize that our narrative doesn't match the emphasis that needs to be in the budget. It may be in the budget, but I don't think we're really emphasizing the need to support our SPED students.
Okay, noted, thank you. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Geis,
Yeah,
Mrs. Allen,
Yes.
Mr. McGivern,
Yes.
Mr. O'Leary,
Yes?
Mr. Osterley.
Yes. Okay, been waiting to say this the whole meeting, time for the coming away, because remember, once a cult, always a cult.
That's right. That's
So there we
why
go.
I never give up. So here we have before you our Continental Way Roadmap to Excellence, which I mentioned. We work with Generation Schools Network on this process. Started in April, May. We had our leadership teams involved, our lead teachers involved in the process. So we will quickly go through the presentation, like we mentioned, will be on our website as well. So Nayeli, if we could go to the second one, is our mission and our vision statement that I already reviewed. Looking at the next slide, we have our governing board did establish these 3 goals. Goal 1, academic rigor and excellence, with the bullet points in terms of what the expectation is. Goal 2, safe and orderly learning environment, and 3, financial strength. So we are excited to announce that we do have governing board goals that will be approved to date to again be published on our website. Next slide. The Continental Way, the district roadmap to excellence. So we were looking at truly our 4 A's. We want awesome character, we want amazing attitudes, we want an A letter grade from the state, and we want an A+ state recognition. So those are our 4 A's that we are working towards. What we did as a team is we looked at board goals and aligned our SMART goals. So in goal number 1, academic rigor and excellence, in establishing high expectations for increased student performance as measured by the AASA, which is the state assessment, the ASA state assessment. 10% of Continental students grade 3rd through 8th as measured by ASA who were below proficiency in June of 2022 will move to proficiency and above in ELA and mathematics by June 2023. So we want to reiterate that it's the students who were below proficiency in this 10%. It doesn't mean that we're not going to expect growth from our students who are already in proficient or students who are in the approaching category. Continental School, as measured by ASA, will earn an A letter grade by June 2025. Letter grades by the state will be out in September, and there's this ginormous point system that we get for attendance, for special ed students showing growth, ELL students showing growth, our kids who maintain proficiency, our kids who move from one level to the other. So when the formula is all said and done, they're looking at growth by demographics. So we continue to reiterate to our parents that we have some students, if you are an ELL student, you count twice in the formula. If you are SPED ELL, you count 3 times because you're in the SPED count, you're in the ELL count, and you're in the overall school data. So the formula is complicated. So the State Department sends it to us. We had moved from an A to a B 3 years ago when the state, we were frozen due to COVID at a B letter grade. And we lost our points by our approaching students who did not make progress into proficiency level. So we had a lot of students who were at the bubble, at the cusp of being proficient. So we really know what students we needed to work with and highlight. Based on preliminary data, we are very hopeful that we may receive our A better grade in September. But again, looking at having that grade for sure by June 2025. Monthly review of Lincoln and Concentra data. 100% of Continental teachers will monitor weekly, bi-weekly student academic progress using standards-based formatives as measured by NWA MAP from August to May 2023. Looking at safe and orderly learning environment, 100% of Continental staff will implement the PBIS, Positive Behavior Intervention Support Systems, to create a positive social emotional environment as measured by quarterly disciplinary reports, student climate surveys, and frontline domain 4 evidence through 2022-23 school year. Mr. Nathan alluded to our conducting of a security audit. So Continental School will work with state and local law enforcement agencies to conduct an annual security audit, increase the safety of the use of technology. Students will earn a digital driver's license. Student cybersecurity will be earned annually for all students, which we have modules that talk about student safety in terms of cybersecurity, and the teachers will go through those so the kids can earn their digital driver's license prior to taking their Chromebooks home. And also the teacher technology usage form will be signed annually by all staff in terms of proper use of school district technology. Financial strength, maintain sound fiscal stewardship of financial resources. Continental School District leadership team will monitor expenditures of federal and state grants monthly using a Google monitoring spreadsheet during the 2022-23 school year. Regular monitor audit findings to address material weaknesses. Continental District leadership team will meet monthly to monitor procedures enlisted to eliminate material weaknesses annually. Develop a capital needs strategic plan budget. Continental Business and Finance Director will create and maintain a capital needs strategic plan budget that is informed by a capital budget committee, which will meet quarterly during the school year. We have, again, the Continental Way, this is us, is the district roadmap to success, which will include focus on instruction, our systems, our leadership, and our culture. And then we have listed what our collective agreements are going to be in terms of instruction on what we're going to be working on, college and career readiness, positive peer influences, goal setting and monitoring, and rigor for all. In our systems, site and district team, equity and access provided, professional learning, and collective agreements. Leadership, distributed leadership, transparency, mutual respect, and communication. And culture, high expectations for all, positive, safe learning environment, and family and community involvement. And there we have our Continental SMART goals is 10% of Continental students grade 3rd through 8th as measured by ASA who are below proficiency will move to proficiency like we mentioned. There's our monitoring of our NWA MAP and our PBIS goals. Okay, and we've also finalized teacher practices and expectations. So during our pre-service days, we will be addressing each of the areas under those 4 domains with the teachers so that expectations are clear on what's expected throughout all of the domains. I also, Mr. Larry Martinez is here from Generation Schools Network. So Mr. Martinez, if you'd like to come to the podium and maybe share some of your thoughts in our work.
Sure, I'd be glad to.
And we have Ms. Olivia Bachicha on the line as well. If Olivia wants to share.
First of all, I want to thank everybody
Thank you.
for the opportunity.
Can you hear me, Roxana?
Yes, we can. Hi.
Okay, perfect. Hello, everyone.
Well, thank you, everybody. Just on a side note, as a child in high school and college, I used to train up here. I was a runner, and just the growth that Continental has. I remember the school when it was down in the corner. I used to come up and run up through here in the Gary Canyon. So it's kudos to the Continental family who has grown the school to what it is now. It is grown. So starting off on this plan here, what we did earlier this year, and in fact, Mr. Ullery was part of this team. We had our vice president of Generation Schools Network, along with myself and a team from Continental School, walk the school and look at different classrooms and to gather information and data on the strengths and weaknesses within the classrooms and what was working and how to continue to improve. We came together at the end of the day to assess and to gather information from all and put it together as a plan. And then we brought in the whole school as a staff where we collaborated together with all the school district teachers to determine as teams within themselves what they felt was some of the best things that were happening and where do we need to improve. We collected a ton of data. I shouldn't say a ton, that sounds kind of hyperbole, but we gathered a bunch of data so that way we could determine what the areas were that we wanted to improve on as from the schools, from the teachers. So that this was all driven from the ground up. It is driven by the teachers, and then it was put together with the staff and the administration where we determined what were areas that we wanted to continue to grow. We gathered that data, we came together with a retreat then to determine what were the big picture items, what we call the big rocks. So we looked at the big rocks on where we wanted to grow, and we came up with the plan that we have here. So gathering the data that we have, we determined what would be the big rocks that we want to address during the school year, and then start putting together plans of action where we looked at the teacher expectations, PLCs, how it's going to work, putting into place, because now we have the goals and what we want to look at, and how are we going to achieve them. So with the leadership team of Ms. Cuevas and Ms. Rico and the rest of the team, we were able to determine big points of interest that we're going to address throughout the year, and how do we continue to grow it, and the plan and the steps, and gathering everything that we have as a team and from Continental, we were able to determine a roadmap. Ms. Baticha, did you want to add anything? Because Ms. Baticha was part of the process also she's the vice president of the student services, and Mr. Banghart, who's the vice president and chief facilitator for Generation Schools Network, was here also.
Ms. Baticha?
Yes, thank you, Larry, and I'd just like to say hello to everyone. I was earlier watching your board meeting, but couldn't speak because I was just in on the live feed, and I just want to say it was just a joy watching you guys at your business in hand. It was awesome. I've been in education for over 30 years, and it was a great pleasure. One of my highlights in my career to be working with this Continental team. I was a building administrator for over 17 years, and now I've been with Generation Schools in my role for school improvement and a lot of different areas to the last 4. But working with Continental has been a true blessing. I want to give kudos to the staff, the teachers that we worked with originally, and then the leadership team that continued to work when I was there. I was Larry there at the end of June. Roxana, Deanna, great, great. The assistant principal as well. I'm so pleased to have had the opportunity. So thank you for that. Larry did an awesome job explaining what our work was. We definitely started from the ground up, wanted to make sure that, whatever work and support we provide to the school district was the work that the school district needed. And so that's why this Continental Way was created based on what the schools, the staff, the parents, the data showed and what was being said. So I think that, there's great things on the horizon coming up for the next years. And I was very, very pleased and, like I said, blessed to have worked with the team. So just wanted to say that as well.
Thank you, and I did want to add that Mrs. Bachicha has experience in working with NWA MAP. So in terms of using the data for Reteach and Enrich and for analyzing the data and analyzing growth, we are looking forward to continuing our work in terms of the data analysis and having Larry and Olivia come in and possibly sit with us during some leadership team meetings with teachers and grade level meetings as we start to analyze data and have our data digs. So we're excited about that as well. So thank you.
Well, thank you. It has been a pleasure, and once again, it's good to have everybody's input to develop this plan, because a lot of times when we work with other school districts, it comes from the top down. And here it's come from the, for the grassroots, and have input from all, and it's made a big difference with having the leadership helping guide. So I appreciate everybody's input in helping develop this roadmap. The Continental Way, once a cold, always a cold.
Yes, now you can join our cold
Right on.
family because you and Olivia are only a text away.
Well, and also.
Right, we just remember we need a t-shirt, right?
Oh, that's right, okay, we will get them in the mail for sure.
Thank you.
Our new t-shirts for the year, yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Martinez.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Olivia, thank you for staying on the line through the meeting, we appreciate it.
Great.
We'll be in touch.
All right, thank you so much. Everyone have a wonderful evening, and you all take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay. I think we need a motion to approve.
I move that we approve the new Continental Way roadmap for excellence.
Second. Discussion.
Good job, guys. I like it.
I have it. Awesome. Bottom up. Larry and Olivia, thank you for helping facilitate. To Mr. Lathan and Ms. Cuervos and Ms. Rico. I don't know if Greg was involved or not. He was. So, but seriously, this is some really good stuff. Nobody does this stuff, right? I've been around the block in different businesses, different careers, and seriously, this is some good stuff. And I know we've got the tools and the people and the money to make it happen. So, giddy up.
Thank you.
Okay, roll call please.
Mrs. Price?
Yeah.
Mrs. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. McGivern?
Yeah,
Mr. O'Leary?
Yes.
Mr. Osterling?
And yes, so let's take us to the school events, which, believe it or not, we're less than a month away.
Here we go.
My kids are freaking out.
There are a lot of exciting events, and if you can, just like to note that we have the July 27th, we have planned a school safety town hall presentation and discussion for our parents, and we'll be getting that information out to our parents to come and discuss any concerns. All staff returns on August 1st. The governing board all-staff breakfast, August 4th, please mark your calendars. We also are planning, after our teacher meet and greet on the 4th, to have our staff kickoff at a location to be determined. Mr. Lane is working on that with us. So August 4th will be a long, busy, fun, exciting day.
Yep.
I'd also like to thank Mr. and Mrs. Egu who are here. They did catalog and type up all the counselor resource books that are going to be in the counselor's office by theme. So thank you for doing that for us. And we really appreciate it. And I know that we already had an idea of other things that we wanted them to do. So, but they said we can't afford them, so we can't exhaust our volunteer help. Also wanted to just let everybody know that on our district website, we will be showing it in August, but as I mentioned at the board retreat, that if you go to district and there is a tab under teaching and learning that does have all of our curriculum, which is where we will be putting the additional resources and books that are being used. And we are going to link our Sora library catalog to the website as well. But if you go on there now, you can start to see all the curriculum listed that we are using. Okay. So yeah, lots of exciting events. We're excited about the new year and to get it kicked off with our theme.
All right, any comment from the board on future agenda items? One thing I have is we will be having an executive session prior to our next regular meeting on security.
And we will be adding also the superintendent evaluation form and goals for the 22-23 school year. So we have to do that in July. So I don't know if we want to have the executive session start at 4:30 instead of 5, because we will be discussing my goals and school safety.
Well,
Has ASBA come out with the superintendent evaluation form?
Yes, it was, they did it last year. It
It's
was in
finally
pilot
done.
form, so it's finally
Could
been rolled out.
you get that distributed?
Yes, I can send that
Thank
to you now so that we'll have it.
I would agree, kind of move into that as a template. Obviously, we need to see it.
Right,
I went to
okay,
their presentation.
good, I will send that to you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And also, I'd like to see, we do need a special board meeting, which we usually have every year to approve a consent agenda for new hires. We still are interviewing and searching for a music teacher. We have maintenance and grounds interviews scheduled for tomorrow. We have the parapro and the programmatic assistant positions that you would just approve today. So we'd like to have a quick, short consent agenda so they can be ready to start prior to July 27th when new hires come on board. So we're looking at either Monday, the 25th, or Tuesday, the 26th.
Can we do it earlier, like 4?
We could, or we could even do a morning. We've done it in the morning meeting, like just a quick 8 to, or 7:30, whatever time will work.
What do you guys think?
Should we narrow the date down first, Monday or Tuesday?
Monday or Tuesday? Monday. Tuesdays are better.
I prefer Monday.
Okay, Monday, the 25th, and
Anytime after 10 for me.
after 10? Okay, what about?
Shelley, Andrew, Monday the 25th for a quick 10-minute meeting?
Yeah, go ahead, Ms. Geisel.
I can't do it till after 3 o'clock.
All right, how about 3:30? 3:30, guys? Cool, done?
Fine with me.
Okay.
Perfect,
Right on.
3:30 on Monday, the 25th?
yes, 3:30,
Okay.
okay? Perfect,
Thank you. All right, anything else? We'll have our traditional go down the line discussion. Let's start with y'all on the phone. Ms. Kyson, before you start, I'm still wishing, I think we all are, happy thoughts for your husband. And let's hope things are well on the event.
Thank you.
So with that, do you have any closing comments?
I'm good, thank you.
Mr. McGibbon?
No, sir, I'm out of wisdom. Thank you.
Yeah, that didn't take long. Ms. Allen?
Maybe just welcome to Mindy and Nellie. Looking forward to working with you guys.
My only comment is, going through the Continental Way, I think it's fine. I just challenge the teachers and staff that hopefully we can move a lot more than 10% of our kids out of and into proficiency levels. I think we owe it to them, and I'm looking forward to the year. Thanks.
Like I said Friday in our retreat, I really see a really sense of excitement in the air. Maybe that's because Albert wasn't there, but he looks okay today. So, but But, welcome to you guys, Larry and Olivia, thank you again, and I hope we can keep you guys involved as we move on. And I think that was all I had. So with that, we've got to sign some
And a
vouchers.
huge welcome to Nayib. I'm gonna.
I'd like to
Nayali.
Right. Nayib.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
And don't forget,
Thank you.
Mindy, thank you for
Yes.
coming down here for, maybe you were here all day.
Thank you.
I haven't even got that one yet.
Oh, and happy belated birthday to Greg. His
Yeah.
birthday was yesterday.